Good evening. Welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program this evening, with more and more cases of violence and harassment being reported against women in India, there is now a strong possibility that the National Commission for Women may get more teeth. A Director General level police officer may be appointed to investigate complaints and take action. If a draft proposal is accepted, a notice from the National Commission for Women will also be enforced, which means if someone who chooses not to appear, then that person can be arrested and fined. The Commission itself will, and this is the most significant point, have the sanctity of a civil court. The big question, will this be a genuine deterrent to those who are criminal in their conduct to women? And we're not just talking about rape and murder cases, we're talking about the entire gamut of harassment. Also coming up, Nitin Gadkari's Surface Transport Ministry comes out with a white paper on the operations of the National Highway Authority of India and slams the previous government for randomly awarding road construction contracts or holding up other projects because of a wrong understanding of court directions and environmental norms. Does this mean highway construction in this country will finally happen at the rate we need it to, not just for economic growth, but also for millions of people, travelers who are on the national highways? For them, traveling on these highways is often nothing short of a nightmare. But let's quickly move on to our top story. Giving the National Commission for Women more teeth. Will this now become a reality? Joining me for more on this, my colleague Tanima Biswas. Tanima, what is the most progressive or forward-looking aspect of what is now being proposed?
That's right, Vishnu, as you were mentioning, that the draft proposal, which has been, in fact been prepared by the Women and Child Development Ministry, of course, we do know that they're going to consult a few other stakeholders before actually preparing this as a final cabinet note. What the draft note actually mentions is the fact that the National Commission for Women is in fact going to be at par. The powers are going to be almost at par with that of a civil court, and all the hearings that the Commission actually undertakes will be equal to a judicial proceedings. Of course, as you were mentioning, the most significant part, of course, is the fact that the Commission will now actually have the power to issue an arrest warrant in case there is somebody who has been summoned or has defaulted in any other manner in the eyes of the Commission, that there could be an arrest warrant issued against that person or even a fine imposed against him. What the Commission is also, what the draft proposal of course also talks about is the fact that several jurisdiction of the powers of the National Commission for Women could also be extended up to Jammu and Kashmir, which so far the Commission was not actually active over there, but now it could in fact get active if the draft proposal is finally accepted by all the ministries. And also what we are hearing is that there could also be, the jurisdiction could also include certain other CRPC provisions. So these are some of the angles which the ministry is looking at the moment, though there are still some questions being raised by certain experts that we have been speaking to, lawyers who deal with harassment cases related to women. They are especially telling us that there are certain doubts which are being raised, and as in terms of the committee, the commission in fact consisting of several people who are seen as political appointees in a way. So will it be an actually a manner in the Commission can, whether or not it is going to act in a very fair manner, or whether there are going to be political interests involved in the people who are actually made part of this 5-member committee that the draft proposal talks about. Also, it mentions that investigative powers will be extended to the Commission. A DGP rank officer will be in charge of that investigative team, which is going to probe the matter before it actually lands up in the hands of the police officers of that state. So whether or not there's going to be a clash of interest in terms of the state police working on in a particular case in case a criminal case is filed regarding that particular incident, or whether or not the DGP rank officer who is going to be part of the National Commission for Women team is going to have an upper hand in that. Those are some of the questions which still need to be answered, but of course what we are being told by the ministry is that this is still a draft. They have also put up the proposal on their website and are seeking recommendations and rather suggestions and comments from people over the next 15 days before actually revising this note and sending it to the cabinet, and also seeking certain consultations from the Law Ministry and the Ministry of Home Affairs, who will of course look into this matter. Vishnu? All
right, Tanima, thanks very much for joining us, outlining all of those new additions which may or may not happen. It's still very much a note in circulation. It has to be vetted by the Law Ministry, other ministries as well before it's cleared. Well, joining us now to debate the merits of the National Commission for Women Getting More Teeth, Purnima Advani, former chairperson of the NCW. Kiran Bedi with me in the studio, former IPS officer. She follows this issue very closely. Pinky Anand, spokesperson of the BJP. Ritvik Bisari, an activist of the Save Indian Family. He's got his concerns about the NCW, I should say, potentially becoming a judge, jury and executioner. Also, Sanjay Jha, spokesperson of the Congress party. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. Purnima Advani, ma'am, let me come to you first. Is this what you would have hoped should have happened many years back, that the NCW effectively becomes a civil court?
Yes, I think this is extremely good step that has happened, and the commission does deserve more teeth. And in fact, I'm amazed that through the years, I mean, ever since the NCW was conceived of, the act was enacted in 1990, the first commission was set up in 1992, there has never been a cabinet note circulated on amendments in the NCW, although the NCW itself has several times suggested that it must have more teeth. And I remember, as the chairperson of the commission, I often used to be asked, but you don't have teeth. And I would say, doesn't matter, I'll act with dentures if I don't have teeth. But yes, it's an excellent move. More particularly, I'm also happy about the move of the territorial jurisdiction being extended to Jammu and Kashmir. I think this was a very, very crucial, much needed move. And I'm quite amazed at the speed with which the cabinet note has been, the draft has been formed, put up on the website. I remember years ago, and I'm talking about, I think in the year 2005, when once I had interacted with Mr. Modi, and he had told me, "आप पहले आयोग का jurisdiction कश्मीर तक तो बढ़ाओ, कश्मीरी महिलाओं को तो कुछ न्याय चाहिए या नहीं?" I mean, that was his statement at that time, and today within a month, I'm hearing of this draft note suggestion that is all extremely positive. I'm extremely upbeat about it. I hope it is carried forth in the right way. And the question that you put, whether there is going to be a clash between the state police and the DGP of the NCW, I think it all depends upon the fairness with which the people who hold the positions, they man their office and they execute it. The law itself.
No, so are you worried that political appointees might affect the autonomous character of the NCW? Is that what you're worried about?
Look, let me not mar the happiness of the positive note of an amendment in the act which is being proposed by other worries. Let's not mar that. But at a separate note, I have always stated that the commissions should never be parking slots for disgruntled politicians or any politician. Simple point is, if you have the mandate to go to a state which is ruled by the party to whom the opposition party, and create a row and state, look what's happening to the women of our state, you should equally be able to go to the other state which is being governed by the party to whom you belong. So it's best not to wear two hats. It's most important
to your point, ma'am.
Complete autonomy, political, financial and executive. That's very crucial.
Pinky Anand, that really is the worry. We'll discuss, we've got time, so we'll discuss the provisions. But I want to get to this concern about who is part of the commission, how are they selected, and their independence, because the concern in the past is that the government of the day would put their representative over there, and therefore when it comes to being completely unbiased in the fight for justice for women across the country, that wasn't happening.
I don't know, are we talking about the National Commission for Women, or are we talking about some political commission that is being discussed? The question is not the manner in which the appointment is made. The question is not who is appointed, because definitely people who have been appointed by each of the political parties, if for example you have, for the last 10 years you have the UP appointing, the person could not be one of merit or could not be one who would be dealing with the issues of women, because I don't think the women issues are politically connected in any way, A. And B, in any case, people who are appointed are people of merit. They are not appointed by parties simply on the whims and fancies. So to say that, I think would not be a very fair statement. I think what is most interesting and what is most exciting about this entire issue is the fact that it is a policy statement of the government by the cabinet note to say this is an issue. The atrocities against women, which is increasing, is an issue which is requiring concern, which requires address. And so certain new thoughts, new processes are on way. Of course, this is a proposal which needs to be discussed. But I think it is always very important, particularly when a new government has come into being, to assure the people who are forming a major part of the population, that is the women, that there will be justice done to them. And if it requires to give more teeth to a commission or to more organizations or to the law, the same is being done as a first priority. This is even before the budget session is there. You are having a note on this respect.
Purnima Advani ma'am, just that point, and I'm sorry to be belaboring this point, but the independence of the National Commission for Women is absolutely essential. How in the past have there been scenarios where those heading the NCW have been rubber stamps of the government of the day? And does that concern remain for you?
Look, I don't think it would be fair to state that they were rubber stamps of the government. I mean, I know that during the NDA power, when the NDA was in power, they had appointed Mrs. Parthasarthi, who was in no way connected to any political power. They had appointed me. I had come from the university setup. I was professor of the Faculty of Law in the Department of Laws in University of Bombay and practicing in the Bombay High Court as a lawyer. So they had picked up persons who were from the profession. Yes, it is true that during the UPA they have taken up both persons who are political persons to head the government, but I think that is the independent governments which take their own call. But it is always desirable to have the commissions with independent persons who can hold their might to say that the women must get justice irrespective of whichever political party they belong to. And I'm sure that would happen with the very first move happening in such a positive manner. The way Ms. Anand has said that even before the budget is declared, there is this cabinet note which is in circulation to talk about more teeth.
Let me just go across to my other panelists. Ma'am, I take the point that you're making.
More teeth for the last over 2 decades.
Okay. Sanjay Jha, does the Congress party welcome this move of the government?
This is the first time that it's been reality and something is happening.
Sanjay, does the Congress believe that this is a good step?
Vishnu, in all frankness, as a party, we cannot make any observation unless our views are sought. And at this point of time, as you yourself said, it's very elementary. It's at a draft stage, a number of public opinion and views will be taken. So, it's at this stage, officially as a party, we cannot really respond to that. But at the very beginning, let me make this point, that this is the same government, the current government that we all know, despite the Supreme Court verdict of 2010 wanted governors to go, has in fact many of the governors have already quit. That there have been subtle nudges given.
What is that? We're not talking about governors, Sanjay. We're talking about
let me make a point.
Proposed amendments to the National Commission of Women Act.
You are missing the Vishnu. Yes, Vishnu. If you have patience, you will get the answer. If you don't have the patience, I'm willing to sit here and merely watch and hear what you say. I was coming to the second point. There has been even the National Commission of even the National Commission.
Okay. Let's see if Sanjay makes this point. Go ahead.
They are all being told.
Yes.
They are all being told to make a nudge, because the reason is that this government does believe that these are political appointments. Now, what is the guarantee that this will? And that's a very germane issue that you have raised. I'm only repeating what you said. And that's a fact. It can be an alarming situation if it becomes, unfortunately, in a country where women's issues, whether it is dowry deaths, whether it is sexual harassment at the workplace, violence, rape, etc., stalking, snooping, these are all significant issues on women need protection. I don't think that needs to be even debated. But the question is that if this becomes a vehicle that has a political complexion, then I think this will cause grave apprehensions, of gender bias, of all kinds of political abuse. That's the last thing on earth you want.
Vishnu,
when women issues are today critical, you see how rape is happening in India today. I want to make the second point. Are we then saying that the current civil and criminal judicial system?
I agree with you. I don't know where Sanjay comes to this entire
criminal justice system is
about
flawed.
what people should be when over 10 years of their period.
I'm making a point here.
There are political appointments.
I'm making a point here.
What is the point?
Are we? Can I speak for a second without an interruption, Vishnu?
Sanjay, you can only speak.
I'm assuming you are the anchor and
but can you justify? Can you justify why in 10 years you had this system of appointments?
Are we
so your
saying
first
right
and second
now,
point all
okay,
keep going.
Pinky
Are
and
we
Sanjay,
saying
Pinky
right
and
now?
Sanjay, just one moment.
Are we
Just
saying-
one moment. You know, since we're getting personal
It's
over here,
incredible.
let's
One more
do that. One moment.
incredible.
I'll come back to Sanjay in a minute. I want to now
It's
just
incredible.
Kiran Bedi is listening in on this. Let's get to
No,
the
no,
specifics.
I think it's absolutely disgraceful that you're intervening and not letting me finish and telling that you'll come back to me. But that's not the way a proper program needs to be.
No,
anchored. And
Sanjay,
I'll
I
be
don't need
very
lectures
upfront
from
with you,
anyone
Vishnu,
on
yeah.
how a proper
I wanted
program
to
is
make
conducted.
One last point.
But I do assure you.
No, I don't need lectures from you either, my dear friend. The
Sanjay,
point I'm saying, there is a criminal and judicial system and a civil system
Yes.
that runs in this country. Are we saying that is incapable of delivering? I think the real challenge is that the way to lodge an FIR, to make the current system deliver through fast-track courts, these are more critical than empowering the NCW with giving them powers. This is my opinion, not the view of my party. I said that to you at the very beginning.
I'm
Over to
amazed
you.
with
I can
this
sit here
statement,
silently for the
really.
rest of the program.
Okay. No, don't. I'll come back. And that was my question to you, Sanjay. Now you've articulated your position on where you stand on this particular issue. Dr. Bedi,
Thank you
Sanjay Jha
very
makes
much
his
for letting
position
me do that.
absolutely clear that there are other ways of ensuring that women are protected. There are new laws in place, there are new guidelines in place, and there is greater awareness now. Is this necessarily something that needed to be done?
I think it was. I absolutely agree both with Purnima Advani and also with Pinky. Both have, I would absolutely endorse their views, so there's nothing more to add. All I can say is my observation also is that NCW has been more or less an onlooker. It's been calling for attendance, and people have been defying it openly. And I think that is what has sent a message across the country that NCW is a paper tiger.
Right.
That's right. So therefore people have been openly defying. If you notice somebody summoned and didn't appear for twice, thrice, I think it's time. And they are a responsible team of 5 members plus, a great secretariat. Why do you have institutions which are toothless? Why have institutions which are so weak? Make them accountable, give them safeguards, but empower them. Empower them with right jurisdiction, and then make safeguards and accountability. I think I certainly welcome this draft idea of the NCW being given a teeth of becoming a civil court. I fully endorse this.
Ritvik Pisaria,
I think where
Yes.
I think it will need a little reconciliation is how do they settle with state police? Because I would probably say give the chance to state police first to act, and if it doesn't act, then step in. I would probably say.
But who decides if the state police is acting or not? Isn't that the crux of the problem?
Okay, that's it. So who decides that? I think these are the things which can be ironed out. But I think the goal and the objective and the intention is good. We just need to work on the right processes.
But Pinky, why don't you come in just briefly on this point? It is a very important point, because even in the last government, we've had this entire issue of jurisdiction between centre and the state. In something as important as this, if the NCW were to investigate a crime in a state where the NDA is not in power, how can one assume that there would be justice?
No, I think that Kiran Bedi's suggestion is a very welcome one, that you actually have the police act in the first instance, and if the police doesn't act, then maybe NCW to have supervisory powers or interactive powers at that stage to see what has not been done and to take care of the needful. I think some of these rough edges do need to be worked out, but ultimately this is a consultative process, and we hope that when we get all the feedbacks, there will be a full and proper discussion on this, and then we will come out with the final notes. Right now, this is the process of discussion.
Ritvik Pisaria, the NCW getting more teeth. We are talking about arrests being ordered by the NCW potentially. Does this, how in your view does this represent a threat in a sense?
You see, I would come in more from a citizen's perspective and from a perspective of the family harmony. I would pick it up from Sanjay, where Sanjay said that are we questioning civil courts, sense of judgment or justice? Are we questioning the court's sense of justice by doing so? Moreover, if we really look at it, NCW, National Commission of Women, if we go through the complete constitution of NCW or their responsibilities, I don't find a single word in any of the paras which talks about citizen. So at end of the day, you're talking about a body which has a mandate to work towards a particular gender, to become a civil court. Is a court supposed to have listening power only towards a particular gender? Is that the kind of court we are wanting in India? And is that a body where we can expect fairness? I don't think this is an NHRC that we are talking about. We are talking about NCW, which is a body which has a particular mandate in place. So can a citizen expect any justice there? See, at least in civil court you can
so
go.
Instead of citizen, we are basically saying, can a man expect justice if the NCW investigates a case? That's what you're saying,
I'm
right?
talking about a man, I'm talking about a senior citizen who's harassed, I'm talking about a boy who's probably 2 months old and is jailed under, say for example, Dowry Act. Where would those people get justice?